excited to be in conversation with my next guest. I have been such a fan of hers for so long. We had the chance, well, let me edit that and say we didn't have a chance. I had a chance to see her. She didn't even know I existed. But there was something about her grace. There was something about her poise. There was something about her confidence. There was something about her agency that I was just admiring from afar. We were both traveling. I can't remember the destination, but it was a long distance flight. And I can't remember if we were going from New York to LA or if we were going from New York to Europe. But first of all, the guest is Winnie Harlow, right? Amazing and beautiful and talented. So now you got the plot. And what I had to do, I love people watching. I get it from my grandfather. My grandfather used to watch people all the time, and I would say, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm observing people. That's how I get to know people. But I actually taken it a step further, and I watch people. And for me, that's how I learned about human dynamics and what people are thinking. And so Winnie entered, and I was familiar with the condition of vitiligo, and I was wondering how people were watching her in first class. And the way she just entered, paid nobody no business, paid nobody no mind, and just went on about her day and put her luggage on the overhead compartment. I wanted to run and be the gentleman and help her out, but I said, let me not be creep mode. But I watched her, and I was like, wow, she really is dope and amazing. And when I had the opportunity to say yes to having her on my show, this is probably one of the most exciting interviews I've been anticipating to have because she's just a dope human being. Winnie Harlow, everyone. How are you?
Wow, thank you so much. That is so sweet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, friend. How are you feeling?
Good. I mean, you have the music bumping in here. I like that.
Yeah, Winnie, we're a vibe.
I love that.
Yo, and you came in vibing. And I was like, oh, I found my people. Yo. Hey. Hey.
Cozy. Cozy. Yeah, I love.
And I thought that was a perfect song as I was listening to it. Like, because you are cozy in your skin.
Do you know what? When that song dropped, it like spoke to Little Winnie for sure.
Yeah.
Love.
That's amazing. The way you come to dance, you got a little dancer in you. Are you a dancer too as well, Winnie?
I'm Jamaican, so I think it just runs in the blood.
You got a little wine in you.
Yeah, exactly. A little wine, a little dance hall. Mm-hmm.
Well, I wanted to say thank you for bringing your energy because you know what? Not every guest comes in with good energy.
Oh, thank you.
And so I think it's important that the guest help level set the room too as well. But you've been on a journey, man. It's the end of the year, Winnie. How do you do your self-care at the end of the year? This is when we all just are exhausted at this point.
Yes. I mean, shoot. I'm zooming back and forth from everywhere right now, so it's a little difficult. But once the holidays come in, I'll definitely be spending time with family, maybe take a little soak in the tub or something, get a little massage.
Nice.
But right now is grind time. I feel like we have to fit so much in before the end of the year.
We do. Are you a beach vacation holiday or are you European city?
Immediately, yes. I am a beach girl, island girl. I want to be on the beach under a palm tree with a pina colada in my hand.
Ooh. I can actually see that visualization. Yeah. I can see you, Winnie,
paint a picture for you.
A pina colada on the beach, chilling.
Yep.
That's interesting. I am not often a beach person. I always love a good beach.
So where do you prefer?
I prefer like city escapes, but more so like country rural.
Okay.
So like my favorite is always like in that Provence area of France. Like
beautiful.
Rustic, scenic.
I feel that. Little cheese and wine.
You already know.
Okay.
That's the vibe I'm going for.
Yeah,
that's the vibe.
I feel that too.
Some good vegetables, some good food. I'm a big
pizza,
foodie.
Little pasta, yeah.
You already know the vibes. Yo, I knew I like Winnie so much. Winnie, it's just an honor to be in conversation with you.
Thank you.
When you came onto the scene, I actually thought about my friend. I'm going to call her Jane Doe for now because I didn't get her permission to talk about her in our conversation today. So I want to respect her privacy. She's going to eventually know what I'm talking about. But what I respect about Jane Doe is we were met in high school. And she used to have this long, black girl, used to have this long, beautiful black hair. And, black community hair is such an identity. And she was known by that. And when we got to college, she cut it. And I said, why did you cut it? And she said, because I didn't want to keep being known as the girl with the long hair. And then eventually she started developing vitiligo. Wow. And I had to watch her go through that journey of identity dynamics. And I've always wondered what she was feeling. And then you popped onto the scene. And I was like, I hope Jane Doe sees herself in Winnie and offers hope for that. But the question I have for you is, when did your journey begin with vitiligo?
I was 4 years old when I first got vitiligo, either 3 or 4. And for me, I give a lot of respect to anyone who develops vitiligo at an older age, which I feel like a lot of people don't realize you can get it at any stage, any age in your life. But to live life in one way and then be an adult and be kind of sure of yourself in that way and then develop vitiligo, I feel like is a completely different journey than the one that I experienced. And so I pay a lot of respect to someone going through that version of the journey.
That's such a good point. So you developed it early, which is so true because in adulthood, if you get it later, you're going through life without having this autoimmune
100%.
disease.
You have your own difficulties because like, as a kid, kids could be very mean and those are your formative years. So it can still be difficult when you're a child. But also, I don't think a lot of people pay attention to the fact that it can be difficult when you're an adult as well.
Okay, this is a little bit of a head knock a little bit because I was just having a conversation with some friends of mine regarding divorce. And there is a buddy of mine, he had some roommates when he was in college and his parents got married when he was an adult. His roommate got married when his parents were young, when he was younger, and his third roommate, his parents were never married, and they all said opposite. They all said, "I wish my parents got divorced when I was younger.
Right.
Wish I got divorced when I was older, or I wish I saw them together." And so it's this mentality of the grass is always green on the other side.
Absolutely.
You wish you had a different experience.
Absolutely.
Because it becomes normalized.
For sure. Yeah, it's your normal. And when that changes, it's hard for anyone. And so with my journey with vitiligo, of course, I've been able to find confidence through my mom, through my grandmother, through my culture. But
when did you notice that you had a different to you?
Oh, very early on. Even in school.
So you knew it then.
Yeah,
you
for sure.
Okay.
Once kids would, bring it up, and I could. We all have that moment when we're kids and when the light bulb kind of turns on and you realize different things. But for my journey, I feel like I was blessed enough to be instilled into a lot of confidence. But everyone's journey is different. And I love to put a spotlight on my journey is my journey, but there's so many different journeys, and it's really important to spotlight that.
That is, but if I wanted to stick to your journey though, because I'm really obsessed with it, and I know you what does they say? Heavy's head, the words are crowned, right? Like there's a responsibility on your shoulders, right, to speak on behalf of so many different types of individuals and communities. But I kind of want to lean in just to your personal journey because it's even more unique to me thinking about how you had it at such an early age. I always think about people develop vitiligo once they get older, right? I don't think I've actually recognized it in young people. Right. I think I've always recognized it in older, so I've always thought differently about that. How did you develop such a confidence? Because the world met you differently at different points in the life, but my world, I met you as a model, right? And so that means you had to have some type of confidence that you were a baddie, right? Like to begin with. So like, and I know some people as a young child that can have so many insecurities about that.
For sure.
How did you make that switch?
It is, and I think this is for everyone, it's a choice you make every single day. It's not like you just wake up one day and you're confident. Some days you don't feel the cutest. Like when I wake up and I didn't put my bonnet on, my hair's a mess. Like sometimes I'm like, girl, you should have put them rollers in your head. But like, every day when you make that decision to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you are beautiful on the inside and the out, that is a step forward into confidence.
So it's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice that you make every single day. I think for me too, when I was younger, it was kind of difficult not having a lot of information on vitiligo. I once tried Googling and researching about vitiligo and didn't find much. And now it's so beautiful. You can look online and find so much information. Even now working with Insight, they have a website, thisisvitiligo.com, that has so much information on vitiligo, whether you have it, whether you don't, whether you're wanting to find out options on, what you can do with vitiligo. I never had those resources growing up, and I am really excited for everyone to have more resources, more education.
Mm-hmm. Was it scary because the lack of resources you had about it?
Again, like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It wasn't really scary, but it was a little disheartening. It didn't help build confidence. I just had to find it through other sources.
Yeah, I've heard some people discuss it in the adult realm when it comes to the professional space, and their concern is like when they have to get a new job, right? Or they go for a new interview. It's always, they believe, the thing that's facing them, right? And they always are curious about that, and they have to make that decision to choose. For you and your journey as a child, though, children could be like so cruel, right? Did it prohibit you from having a social life? Did it prohibit you from dating? And I think the reason I'm asking, I'm sure parents who have children of vitiligo are watching and thinking about this.
That's why I really love that there is so much more education on it, because I've had experiences when I was a child, and kids told me that their parents said not to play with me because they thought they would catch my skin. And vitiligo isn't contagious, but there was no education, you know? So it definitely was hard when I was growing up, but being able to work through those challenges and come out on the other side with confidence, and being able to emulate that confidence that other people can do as well is an honor, honestly.
Why do you say an honor?
Because I never had it for myself. And so to be able to do that, what I wanted for myself, for others, is a great honor.
Wow. So you accept the responsibility.
You know what I love about what I've created? I'm just being myself. I'm not necessarily not or am taking responsibility. I'm just being myself. And through being myself, there's power in that, you know? Through loving yourself, there is power in that.
So it's almost like you have to choose self first. And I can only imagine that once you choose to own and love yourself first, you have to walk differently in terms of how you show up. For
sure. You definitely walk differently first for yourself, and then hopefully it shines a light for someone else.
Do you feel like it helps people with vitiligo, help them when they enter a room, normalize their room a bit if they are not shoulders cowed, head bent? For sure, 100%. I feel like that's for anyone, though. You know, like anyone who walks into a room with an energy is going to be received differently. You know, it's not so much about what's on the outside as we feel it is. You know, sometimes you have like a big pimple on your face that like you think everyone's staring at, and until you mention it, no one even noticed. So I feel like we're also really hard on ourselves, and it's really important to give yourself that grace and know that you are that bad. Yeah, there you go. And you definitely are. It's funny that you're talking about the interview to highlight it, because only reason I keep looking at it is because we're discussing it for the point of journalism and for the conversation to educate the American public. But when I see you, I actually don't see it, right? It's just I have to remind myself, vitiligo is the topic of conversation, but normally I wouldn't even engage because it just becomes such normal, because the way you entered, right, and your whole being is just such a strong agency that you don't even think anything about it. And it just makes me think about like this platform for you is even bigger than vitiligo. It's about people to show up and love themselves no matter what insecurities that they may have. I mean, I've had insecurities with my weight from time to time. For sure. It's so much bigger than vitiligo, but that is so near and dear to me. It's about confidence. It's about loving yourself. It's about holding your opinion of yourself higher than others' opinions of you. Yo, so when did you say to yourself, like, I'm about to be a model, right? And And the reason I'm asking is because I'm coming from the kid on the other side of the lunch table, right? You're talking to a kid, if we can keep you in high school, because I wasn't thinking about youth, I was homecoming king, right? I was the class president, right? Like, I was the guy's guy, right? Like, most likely for all the things, right? And I didn't have to think through these different type of insecurities. And so that gave me my confidence. And I'm very honest with you, audience. You've heard me talk about this before. I love the applause, right? The applause kept me going, right? The applause kept me running for things. Right? I went to Michigan. I was the first black homecoming king in my college, right? So it was just like the applause I was used to. So I wasn't used to having to think about, well, we all have insecurities, but my insecurities wasn't always so external, where individual vitiligo is. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit blown away, the fact that you had it so young and you are sitting on top of the world right now. I think that I love the journey, right? And I think the journey of that is what's blowing me away right now. So I apologize for keep taking you back to high school.
No, it's
but now you understand now my POV of like why I'm so blown away by this. Yeah.
And I love that you have the perspective too, because for me, it's really important to be able to put myself in other people's shoes too. I feel like that's a really great quality for any human being to have, having empathy, having sympathy. And so, I love that you didn't at all have that experience, but you're so engaged in that conversation.
Yeah. so high school, clearly you went to prom, right? And you had the things, but like, how did you be like, I want to be a model?
I heard a casting call on the radio and I went and they said, if you want to be anywhere near the fashion industry, maybe you should be a makeup artist. But they didn't
talking
see
to
it
you
for
directly.
Me. They didn't see it for me. They were like, you have beautiful bone structure and all that, but we wouldn't know where to place you. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. For some reason in my head, I just thought, well, that's your opinion. It's just, I guess, how I was raised, you know? And I did some modeling jobs for people in Toronto when I lived out there when I was younger, and it just started picking up. This is in the beginning of social media. I would post it, and I started building a community of people who saw themselves through me, and it was just me going out and being myself and sharing that with the world.
Yeah. If I could ask you a question, and forgive me if I get too personal, but I'm curious about the fear of rejection, because we all have a fear of rejection, right? Like, I'm still pitching myself to this day, and I'm here at Sirius XM, I'm on ABC, I'm on Good Morning America, like I'm all the things, and I sent a pitch to my producers yesterday about this really heady esoteric topic. I was like, oh, they may not think I'm the one to do it, yada, yada, and here I am, the tech policy expert, right? So we all have like this fear of like rejection that sets in with us, and again, but all mine is internal. The producers aren't thinking that I am afraid they're going to say no to me. And they're like, of course Mike wants this topic. Of course we're going to give it to him. And I think that's the difference, audience, about internal versus like external, right? And so modeling is all about external, right? They don't care if you're a decent person, a good human being, right? It's all about like the face and the body, right? And so was those things that you thought about like when you went on castings? In the beginning days, I'm sure casting for you looks a little different now, but
when I started and people started taking note to me, I was more focused on breaking ground as someone who hasn't been seen before. And so it wasn't necessarily me like thinking so much about, oh, are they going to like my skin? It was, I want to get this casting because I want other people to see someone with vitiligo on a billboard.
Wow. An answer I was not expecting. I never know what my guests are going to say. And I have no questions written down. I'm all about energy of the moment. I wasn't expecting that. And I think there's something about who you are in your constitution is that your North Star that guided you wasn't about you getting booked for this print campaign or for this runway show, but it was about so others behind you could see themselves in the light. So I would have to imagine that gave you this unimagined resilience to keep pushing.
Definitely. 100%.
Who are you? When you come back, I gotta interview your family, because I'm like, to be surrounded by so much love, I think is a privilege that doesn't get talked about.
Amen. Absolutely. 100%. Yes, I have an incredible mother, incredible father, incredible grandparents, lots of love.
That had to be what is part of your constitution.
For sure.
We don't talk about love as privilege.
100%. Oh my goodness. The greatest privilege of life. Love is everything.
Because I talked about it through the applause. I was loved. My parents loved me. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But your love is what gave you the confidence to keep going and to identify your North Star with that. And here you are in high fashion, the face of like high fashion.
Thank you.
This incredible island gal, all right? It's a face in first class.
Yes, right? Yes, Jamaica.
I loved when you saw the Madame, is it Tussauds? I messed up the name. Madame Tussauds wax figure of yourself. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, that was, wow. So being the first person with vitiligo in Madame Tussauds was insane to me. I was so curious though, because my skin changes all the time, right? So from the beginning of my career to now, I look a lot different. And it's funny that you said earlier, when you see me, you don't see my skin. A lot of people don't even realize that my skin has changed. But also, you know, when you see a kid every single day, you may not see them grow, but when you don't see them for a year, you see big change, right? So I think that's just human nature. But because my skin changes so much, I spoke to the team there and I was like, what about in a few years when my skin is different? And they were so excited. They were like, wow, we didn't even know your skin changes. And that for me added another piece of education to the story of vitiligo. And they were like, we would love to do multiple versions with you over time as your skin changes so that we can showcase that as a, you know, education piece.
Yeah. You still have so much living to go. You still have much milestones to hit. You're going to keep soaring. But I would have to imagine you seeing your wax figure of yourself. It had to be a dream realized of wanting to be that North Star and that breakthrough for others. Yeah,
I never in my wildest dreams could have thought that I would be a wax figure. There's like, if you told little Winnie this, I would be like, huh? Yeah. What? So it was definitely a dream. I couldn't even say come true because I could have never dreamt of it. But what was the best part for me was inviting a bunch of incredible people with vitiligo to come and see it unveiled. And them getting to see themselves through me was the icing on the cake to the entire day.
It's a dream realized.
Absolutely.
You're about education, and this campaign is about education. So one, think about being so vulnerable and being open to being asked questions about yourself, and including your mom and dad. Part of the education I want to ask you for those who don't have vitiligo, and for those of us who see individuals, what made me think about this question for you right now is you're saying your skin changes, but I've never seen you attempt to cover up your makeup. Cover up your skin discoloration with makeup. How should people who don't have it, who have loved ones in their lives, who are on their confidence journey, right? Who put makeup on, to hide, how should we support them in that confidence journey?
Everyone's journey is their own.
How does you advise us to say things?
Everyone's journey is their own. And if someone, even without vitiligo, if someone wears makeup, that's their journey and that's their business. And if somebody doesn't or does not wear makeup, that's all their business. I feel like you should support people in their journey. And if somebody wants to cover their vitiligo, let them be on their journey and continue to love on them and showcase how beautiful they are. But that is their journey. And I feel like so many times, I feel like I get a lot of comments of people being like, oh, my cousin covers her skin and I tell her to look at you. And that's her journey though. And I love that you want her to have a sense of confidence, but you have to give people their own time to grow into their own person as well, you know? Makeup is beautiful, and so is their skin. And just giving people time, grace, and love.
Audience, this is a little personal moment that I'm kind of just resonating with that one. I'm kind of just thinking about probably where I went wrong recently.
Oh, it's okay.
And I want to just see, what did you think about this scenario?
Yeah.
I have a colleague of mine at my other job, and it's a male adult. He gets it in his eyelashes, right? And I didn't notice it ever, but then one day he showed up without the mascara. And I said, yo, I was just like, you've been wearing mascara this whole time? And he said, yeah. I was like, I love it without the mascara. I was like, you look amazing and dope. And we had this conversation about his wife wants him to cover it up. And I was like, yo, don't wear it. You look so amazing, so dope, amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then so sometimes he doesn't wear it, but then when he sees me, he'll say like, Mike, I put it on. My wife made me put it on. And now I'm thinking, did I go wrong with highlighting that part?
It was his choice not to wear it that day, and you gave him the confidence to know that he doesn't have to. And if he wants to, he can, and that's perfectly fine. But having that like cheerleader in his corner to know that if you don't want to wear it as well, that's perfectly fine too.
Got it.
Yeah. It's
Thank
all
you,
his
Winnie.
choice, though. It should all be his choice.
This
but
is why
it's nice to have that praise and that cheerleader to show you, like, you know what? Yeah. You look bomb. You look unique.
Yeah. That's why I called him. I was like, yo, you're like a superhero. He looks so dope with it. He's going to see this too as well. I was like, yes, I'm talking about you. Winnie says you don't have to have it. Winnie, I see why you are this incredible spokesperson. I see why you're on this campaign to really educate the public and society about vitiligo, because it's always been your calling and that you have accepted. And it was evident when you said, I went through castings not afraid of rejection because I was looking to be the breakthrough. And my God, are you the breakthrough?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the Mike Muse Show. I hope you would come back anytime.
Of course, I would love to.
And now that we have the foundation,
we have a little dance party before.
And we can talk about all your other dope things in life.
Thank you.
Anytime you have something that you're working on, please, you have a home here. Is this an automatic yes? Congratulations on everything. Isn't she amazing, audience?
Y'all have an amazing day.
Until next time, peace.